Stampers. I'm Cheryl Hamilton from createwithcheryl.me, and I have a few beginning stampers and I want to help them out by making some back to basics videos. Today I'm going to start with how to cut a card, just how to cut that card base. Stay tuned and I'll show you how to do this. At Stampin' Up! We have two different sizes of cardstock. We have 12 by 12 papers, and we also have 8.5 by 11 papers. And I suggest for making your basic cards, buy the packets in 8.5 by 11. It's a lot simpler, and you don't waste anything. So you grab your trimmer, and I do have a tutorial I did on the Stampin' Up! Trimmer because there's a lot of things to know about it, and you really do need this tool to get started with card making. You don't want to be doing it with scissors, and you also want to make sure you have a long enough trimmer with the score blade here. Okay, so with my paper, I'm going to cut it in half, and I'm going to start by cutting it, see the 5.5. I've marked my trimmer so I don't really have to use my brain very much for your basic card cutting. So I'm going to cut it at 5.5 with the 11-inch across the top. Put it in there, make sure it's, up against this so that it's very straight. So it's at the 5.5 mark. I put it down and I'm going to just cut, and this one is my trimmer and this is my score blade, so I'm using my trimmer to cut it. And then this is pretty neat with the trimmer. Oh well, anyway, it makes this makes two different cards and you don't waste anything. You're going to turn it the other way so the 8.5 part is on the top. Put it at 4.25, and this is going to score it in half. So don't cut it, move that cutting blade out of the way, and I'm just going to score it. And see how it makes that nice score line. The fibers have actually broken this way, so you're going to continue to break them and fold it in that direction. And I still kind of look at it before I use the bone folder to burnish the fold. Okay, so this will make me 2 cards. This one, I'll go ahead and score this again. So there's 2 regular size cards, which you can use in this position, or you could also turn them to where it's a horizontal view. Okay, so one other way to show you to make a card. If you'd like a longer version of a card, instead of cutting it here at 5.5, you're going to turn it long ways like this and put it in your trimmer, and you're going to cut it at 4.25. So this makes 2 long pieces. Now to score it, you're going to score it at the same mark that before we did the cutting on. That's why I like to mark up my trimmer. So you're going to put it at 5.5, and it's right down the middle. You're going to score it. And let me just do the other one. 5.5. And then we continue folding it, and that way you have 2 cards that just open differently. So you either are going to open it to the top like that, or else you can turn it sideways and open it like this. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make the first layer that goes on top of my cards. So I'm taking a piece of, this is Pretty Peacock, 8.5 by 11, and I'm going to put it in my trimmer like this, and instead of cutting at the 5.5-inch mark, I just go down 1/4 inch, and I'm cutting it at 5.25, and then I'm coming over And again, instead of the 4 1/4 where I was scoring it before, I'm going to go down 1/4 inch and go to 4. Okay, so this is going to fit on my cards like this and make a nice layer for it. And because I have these 3 pieces, I normally can't talk and do this at the same time. Okay, so 4 inches. It's another one. I'm going to go ahead and cut this. But I normally make my cards in sets of 4. And that way I don't have leftover random pieces. I'm really making good use of it. Okay, so first layer 5 1/4 by 4. And it also makes sense to do that because when you get all of your paper and ink, and then you figure out what kind of card you want to make, you don't really want to spend all the time and make just one. It's worth it to make more than that. But there's this. Let me do one more for you because I'm doing this. I'm taking basic white, if I can get it, and I'm going to do the same thing, except I'm going down another 1/4 inch. So basic white, I'm putting in my trimmer, and you know how you start at the 5 1/2. Last time for the first layer, I went down 1/4 inch. Now I'm going all the way down to 5. And same thing over here. Instead of 4 1/4, I'm moving to 4. Then I'm moving to 3 3/4. I hope this makes sense to you guys. This is the way I do it in my head, so I don't have to think very much. And I save these little pieces for sentiments and things like that I want to do. Okay, so again, this is layer 2, and okay, so I'm going to do this really quickly just to show you. Normally I wouldn't. Well, let me just glue this one on. You don't use a ton of glue, okay, because it'll ooze out and it'll be messy. If you use this Tombow liquid glue, you just don't need very much, and it gives you a few seconds to position your cardstock on top, so it's really perfect before you go like this and make it stick. It'll stay really well. Now, one more tip is I always stamp before I glue this one down, because if I mess up, I can just turn it over. I have another chance. And those are pretty colors, and that's going to make a great base. One more thing is that these cards are all a standard size, fit a standard A2 envelope, and that is the same thing that's in our these basic white medium envelopes. So they're all gonna fit perfectly in here. Okay, if you have any questions, please email me or leave a comment below, and I hope you subscribe to my YouTube channel. That'd be great. And stop by my website at createwithcheryl.me for more information. Aloha.